444. 1, 2, 3, 4.
.444 is a song by Jay-Z or Jay-Z. The crotchet is set at 89 beats per minute. The genre, type of music, is hip-hop. Now if we look at this song, we have to follow the vertical rule, which is looking at whatever is from top to bottom and you do them together. Tails are quavers or eighth notes. Two tails are semiquavers, and beware of the rests. The thing that looks like a 3 squiggle is a crotchet rest. The thing that looks like a 7 on the snare line is a quaver or an eighth note rest. What you see here with the arrow pointing to the right is a accent or an accent. So it starts off with bass hat, hat, all quavered hats or eighth note hats. On the third stroke, or the 2 and the 4, we have an accent, and just follow that through until you get to the semiquaver bass, which is in between the 2 and the 3, or in between this hat and hat. Then it moves on, more of the same of course, and then this is a flam, make it precise and specific on the snare. Flam, bass, bass, so 1 and 2, 3 and rest, snare, crash, and then you get into this groove, and it's with a crash on the end, the 2 end and the 4 end, and it happens here again, and then it locks into this. There's a semiquaver bass drum here and here, so crash, hat, snare, hat, bass, and there's a bass in between that hat and that hat, hat, but bass, snare, and then more of the same. Then you got some semiquaver hats here. So it depends how you want to play this. It's not too fast, so you can right left it. I did a little bit of open hand with my left hand on the hi-hats at times. And then you got more of this, except it's developed from this point here. Flam, crash, crash, snare, snare, crash, crash, snare, snare, floor, floor, on the floor, floor. Then you got crash, snare, snare, bass, 2E, and snare, bass, and then I'm not even counting. 1 and 2 and 3 E and snare bass, 1 E and snare bass, 3 E and snare bass crash, hat snare. Hats are on the and sometimes they're semi-quavered. So that's 4 and D, 4 and D, 1, and then it's rested on the 1 for the hats, but a bass. So bass hat hat, snare hat hat, bass hat hat, snare bass. It's not tricky. You just have to be slow and careful. If you're slow and careful, so that bass is 1 E and 2 E and E, 3 is bass E and 4 and 1 E, and we've already done that here, except it's swapped over, so it's 1 E and 2 and E, 3 and 4, and whenever you see 2 tails, that's a semiquaver, or 2 tails or 2 lines, that's a semiquaver or a 16th note. And then it follows through all the way here. You got the same basic thing here, except you can choose whatever fill you want to place here in the 4th crotchet. 1 E and 2 and E, 3 and or whatever. Se tom floor floor. Or just keep it simple. Snare snare floor floor. 4 E and or 4 E and step 1 floor. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. And then you got 16th hats all the way through, except on this second bar there's a snare where you right hand, right stick on the snare, and over here you got a bass drum which would coincide with your left stroke if you're doing single strokes here. Right left right left right left right left right left right left right left. And then I just developed it. I don't know how good it was. I just developed it however I wanted to. I just put a snare drum on the 2 and the 4 at times, and threw in a few double strokes here and there. And then I just improvised around this. They call these significant stabs. So it's 1 and 2, 3 and 1, 1 and 2, 3 and, which mirrors this. Da, 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 da. So it's basically this kind of feel, but here and here and here. Now be very aware that what repeats? Oh no, there's no dots. Oh, there's dots here. So you've got to be. So this block to that block goes once, again, here all the way through, and then once you hit the dots, you bounce back. Then you do this line, this line, this line, the fill, and then the finish bar. Snare with the right, left, right for the snare, snare, crash, left, right, tom with the left, high tom with the left or tom 1, and then floor, floor with the right, left, and then crash with the right. That brick that sits on top of the line is a minim or a 2 crotchet rest. What else? The drum solo needs work always. You can do triplets, you can do quavers, you can do a combination, but just make it stylistically, which is hip hop. You don't go with the double bass pedal or doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, as long as it's stylistically appropriate, I'm all good for that. And that drum solo happens twice pretty much, because that and that and that and that and that and that, and that are the same. And yeah, just practice it slow, big picture, and then join the pieces together, slow and careful. Start at half the beats per minute, which would be about 43, 44 beats per minute, and then click it up. Join in bits here, and then getting the right sort of feel. Listen to the song too, of course. You will always succeed if you do that.